A red laser dot danced on the forehead of my prized bull, steady and menacing like a sniper's mark. The man gripping the rifle, his face hard as granite, claimed he was sent by the HOA. I'm not kidding. One moment, I'm tending to my rare heritage livestock. The next, I'm locked in a showdown over property values with a woman who thinks she's the queen of the county. She branded my bulls a public menace. I call them living legends, shielded by federal law. What began as a petty zoning dispute spiraled into a saga so wild, so absurd, it's almost unbelievable. Stick with me or you're going to want to hear this. My name's Ethan Caldwell, a 36-year-old software developer who traded city noise for wide-open spaces. For years ago, in 2021, I sank every penny I had into 200 acres of rugged land in Harper County, Oklahoma, craving a life rooted in something real. This isn't just a ranch. It's a sanctuary for 15 American milking Devon bulls, the rarest cattle breed in the country, with fewer than 250 left. Each one's worth $60,000, certified by the government, not just livestock but pieces of America's soul, protected like bald eagles. I was 12 when I first saw a milking Devon on a dusty Texas ranch with my dad. He didn't say much, just stared at those massive beasts and murmured, "This is what America's made of, kid." Not the crap on TV. Dad was no rancher, just a Marine who'd buried too many friends overseas. To him, anything tied to the old country was sacred. When he died 6 years ago, I vowed to keep something of that America alive. That's why I'm here, raising bulls most folks don't even know exist. The trouble started on a crisp October morning in 2021. I was checking the herd when a gleaming black SUV roared up my gravel drive. Out stepped a woman in her early 40s, dressed in a spotless cream blazer that screamed wealth and control. Her auburn hair was flawless, her designer shades glinted, and she wore silk gloves like she was headed to a gala, not a cattle ranch. She wrinkled her nose at the earthy scent of the pasture and spritzed perfume from a tiny bottle, as if the air itself offended her. "I'm Vivian Harper, president of the Prairie Haven HOA," she declared, her voice sharp as a blade. "You need to get rid of these animals." The way she spat animals made it sound like I was breeding roaches, not prize heritage bulls. Her heels sank into the dirt as she backed away from the fence, her face twisting with disgust. "Ma'am, you're on my land," I said, keeping my tone even despite her attitude. "These bulls belong here." I pointed to the pasture, where my Devons grazed, their rusty coats glowing in the sunlight, horns curving like crescent moons. Each wore a tag with a federal ID, proof of their protected status. Vivian's eyes narrowed, her lips curling as she surveyed the herd. "You don't get it, Mr. Caldwell. This area is being refined. These creatures are taking property values and making life unbearable for our residents." She whipped out her phone, snapping photos of the bulls and muttering about evidence for her HOA board. I tried reasoning. These are American milking Devon heritage animals, protected by federal law. This ranch is their legal home. I gestured to the plaques on each pen, official seals glinting. Vivian barely glanced at them, dismissing me with a flick of her gloved hand. "I don't care about your papers, Ethan. Rules are rules, and I set them around here." Her voice dripped with the confidence of someone used to bullying her way to victory. As she strutted back to her SUV, she shot me a smile that felt like a knife in the gut. "You'll come around, Ethan. I always win." It wasn't just a promise seat was a threat. I dug into Vivian's past that night, and what I found made my stomach churn. Online forums from her old town in Colorado painted her as a ruthless property manager who'd driven out small businesses that didn't fit her vision of upscale. Her playbook was clear: target, pressure, destroy, all while keeping her hands clean. She'd forced out a bakery, a bookstore, and a family farm with zoning complaints and harassment until they broke. Now she'd zeroed in on my ranch, and I was starting to grasp the fight ahead. The harassment kicked off the next day. I woke to find flyers littering the neighborhood, my ranch's address plastered alongside warnings about hazardous livestock spreading disease. They urged residents to call health authorities. By noon, a baffled county inspector was on my phone, asking about infected cattle. I explained my bulls were healthy, federally registered, with vet records to prove it. He apologized, but Vivian's lies were already clogging the system. Then she upped the ante, hiring a crew to hang a massive banner across from my gate. "Elite community cleanup, protecting your investment." It was a public shaming, designed to make my ranch feel like a plague zone. I watched from my porch as she directed the workers, pointing at my bulls like they were vermin. Enough was enough. I drove to town and had a sign made, private property, heritage livestock protected by federal law. I bolted it to my gate, installed security cameras, and set up a loudspeaker. This is cattle country, not a country club, I announced, my voice echoing across the fields. The universe had a laugh at Vivian's expense. As she posed for social media shots with her banner, my lead bull, Titan, ambled to the fence for a drink. With perfect timing, he let loose a stream that soaked her precious sign. Vivian shrieked like she'd been shot, and I busied myself with chores, biting back a grin. An old-timer, maybe 75, shuffled up to my fence as I mounted my sign. "Drove 4 states to see these Devons once," he said softly. "Kids think beef comes from Walmart. Don't let him erase the past." His words hit hard, reminding me this wasn't just about my land. These bulls were a thread to an America my dad fought for. By morning, a hand-painted sign leaned against my gate. "We stand with the bulls." 5 more appeared by noon. A grizzled veteran dropped off hay bales, calling them his war bonds. This wasn't my fight, Anna Maria, it was ours. That night, I dug deeper into Vivian's history. 6 months earlier, she'd hounded a local goat farm into selling cheap to developers. Her game was clear: sanitize Harper County for luxury estates, no room for messy agriculture. At 8 p.m., my phone rang. "Ethan, darling," Vivian purred, her voice syrupy with menace. "Your little sign won't save you. I have other ways." The line went dead, but her words lingered like a storm cloud. Vivian turned the community center into a war room, complete with a stage and slick presentation gear. She'd rallied 70 people, HOA members, neighbors, even shop owners, for her urgent safety forum. Her slideshow was pure theater: photos of manure, fake charts, bold red warnings. "Ladies and gentlemen," she boomed, "Ethan Caldwell's ranch is a danger to our health, our homes, and our children." The word ranch sounded like landfill in her mouth. I'd had it. Standing in the back, I shouted, "That manure's worth more than your slides, Vivian." The crowd tittered, and her script faltered. I pulled out my phone, hit record, and went live. "This is how HOA tyrants work, folks. Watch a rich bully steamroll rural rights." Viewers flooded in, comments piling up. Vivian's face flushed crimson. "Stop that camera," she snapped. "This is private." But I kept rolling, and the online crowd roared with support. Then fate delivered a masterstroke. My bulls, led by Titan, wandered through an unlatched gate and strolled into the community center. Titan, all 2,000 pounds of him, ambled past Vivian's podium, calm as a Sunday morning. The room exploded. Some screamed. Others laughed. Kids snapped photos, awestruck. A boy, maybe 8, touched Titan's horn and whispered, "Is this a real cowboy bull?" I chuckled. "He's America, kid. Survived wars, depressions, and now some ladies scared of a little dirt." The crowd laughed, but the boy nodded like he got it. Vivian's dangerous livestock spiel crumbled as kids marveled at Titan's gentle majesty. She stormed out, vowing to hire experts to fix this. Her tone sent ice down my spine. 3 days later, I spotted a rugged truck with Wyoming plates at the diner where Vivian held court. She was deep in talk with a burly man in camo. Uneasy, I checked my cameras. Several were offline, tampered with to blind my main pasture. The next morning, a hunter named Cole Ramsey stood at my gate, papers in hand. "Mr. Caldwell, I'm here to handle your wildlife problem. MS." Harper gave me permits and maps. Confused, I pressed him. He showed me official-looking documents authorizing hazardous animal removal. Vivian had paid him $20,000 to clean up my bulls, claiming they were feral threats. I tried explaining they were protected, but Cole, convinced by Vivian's forged permits, saw me as the problem. It all went to hell when Cole spotted Titan and raised his rifle, a red dot locking onto the bull's skull. "Step back, sir," he ordered. "This is the primary threat." I screamed, "Don't shoot. That's a federal crime." But Cole, locked in his mission, didn't budge. We argued, voices rising, and in the chaos, his finger twitched. The shot cracked like lightning, and Titan collapsed, blood pooling in the dirt. My $60,000 bull, my pride, was gone. I fell beside him, cradling his massive head, his last breath warm against my skin. Dad's words echoed. "Never abandon your companions, even the 4-legged ones." I'd failed Titan, failed Dad, failed the America I swore to protect. He wasn't just a bull, was history, a guardian of the herd, a symbol of something bigger. Vivian hadn't just killed an animal. She'd erased centuries of heritage. Tears burned as I thought of the calves he'd never sire, the legacy snuffed out. Cole stood frozen, reading the federal plaque on Titan's pin. God, what did I do? He muttered, his rifle dropping. She said they were wild. Showed me permits. Sirens wailed me. 911 call had brought the sheriff. The deputy surveyed the scene, then turned to Cole. You just broke federal law. Killing a heritage animals like torching a monument, 10 to 15 years, millions in fines. Cole slumped, pale as death. He spilled everything. Vivian's $20,000 payment, fake permits, photos framing my bulls as rogue beasts. She played him like a pawn, keeping her hands clean. Then Cole did something I didn't expect. Ethan, I'll make this right. She lied to me. Used me. I'll testify, give you everything. His remorse was raw, a professional humiliated by betrayal. An old neighbor, hearing the news, approached Cole. That bull was worth more than a president's horse, he said. You killed history. Cole's eyes glistened, his swagger gone. He spent the day helping me catalog Vivian's lies, texts, emails, forged documents, building a case like a soldier on a mission. When the deputy offered a lawyer, Cole refused. I'm confessing now, he said, as if atoning for a sin. We hatched a plan. I'd lure Vivian by pretending to surrender, offering to sell the ranch. She'd gloat, and we'd catch her confession on tape. I called her, voice heavy. Vivian, I'm done. I'll sell. Can we meet tomorrow? Her reply oozed victory. Oh, Ethan, I'm so sorry, she cooed, fake as ever. I'll bring an offer you'll love. I knew she'd lowball me, eyeing my land for condos. We rigged the porch with hidden mics and a live stream. Cole hid in the brush with pro audio gear. Vivian arrived, all smiles, her SUV gleaming. She spread papers on my tablia, pitiful offer for my 200 acres. Ethan, darling, you're doing the right thing, she said, her pity a mask. I played broken. Vivian, what happened with that hunter? Cole thought he had real permits. Her eyes gleamed with pride. Oh, that? I hired him to clean up your filthy animals. Gave him flawless fake permits. He never suspected a thing. Brilliant, right? I pushed. You plan to kill all 15? She nodded, gleeful. Of course. Told him they were dangerous strays. A few days, and your problem's gone. I stood, pointing at my phone. Thanks, Vivian. That's live to 400 people, and Cole's got it on tape. Cole emerged, recorder raised. Vivian's face cycled through shock, horror, panic. You can't use that, she screamed, lunging for my phone. I dodged, keeping the stream alive. It's over, Cole called. Your confessions into cloud fraud, conspiracy, wildlife crimes. Vivian collapsed, defeated. The deputy arrived, cuffs ready. Vivian Harper, you're under arrest, he said, listing her charges. The online crowd erupted, cheering justice. 6 months later, in April 2022, Vivian got 4 years in federal prison and a $2.5 million fine for Titan's death and my losses. Her resort deal collapsed, her mansion sat unsold. Cole, granted immunity, became a county wildlife consultant and my ranch's security chief, guarding the bulls he once threatened. My restitution funded the biggest milking Devon Heritage Center in Oklahoma, hosting 12,000 visitors yearly, kids, scholars, even foreign experts. The 14 remaining bulls sired 10 calves, carrying Titan's legacy. The HOA elected a new leader who respects the land, and neighbors volunteer at our programs. Every school group hears Titan's story, and the kids go quiet, eyes wide, grasping what we lost. A girl asked if Titan's in cowboy heaven. I paused, then said, he's here, darlin', and every calf, every story we tell. Teachers tear up, families return, knowing we're not just ranching, we're saving America's heartbeat. Vivian thought she could erase that with money and lies, but Titan's sacrifice proved her wrong. The frontier's spirit lives in these pastures, stronger than any HOA. Now, tell me, what would you do if someone threatened your passion, your legacy? Should HOAs have this much power over private land? And how far is too far to protect what's yours? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories that'll make you think.